it's Friday night, all you cyberpunks and retro nerds out there. More specifically, Friday the 13th. Yeah, that's right. One of my favorite days ever. And tomorrow, it's gonna be Valentine's Day. What? Talk about a strange juxtaposition between holidays, right? And it got me thinking, what do I want to cover this weekend on the channel? Well, I'm kind of fending off a slight cold here, so the group review is out the window. I was going to cover something like Friday the 13th or maybe My Bloody Valentine, but we'll save those for another occasion. Tonight, I thought we would check out the Robert Eggers flick, The Northman. I'm a huge fan of the director. I loved his movie The Witch and The Lighthouse. I think those are great movies. This right here stars a bevy of prolific actors. It's got Alexander Skarsgård in it, Nicole Kidman. Also it stars Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, and musician Bjork. I know very little about this movie, but I am a huge fan of the director. Those actors are excellent, and I do love the whole concept of Viking lore. So I'm looking forward to checking this flick out. You guys know this routine. Check out that motherfucking trailer. Peep that shit, guys, when we get back. You can know Tommy the Hammer's opinion on The Northman.
My kingdom was stolen from me. My heart knows only revenge.
This movie, you see that it has an ensemble cast, and I think that's pretty awesome. A lot of the actors in this movie I appreciate them, but there is something about these well-known actors on the forefront that kind of takes you away from the overall picture, at least in my case when I was first starting this movie. Now, that's not to say that they don't do a good job, because they most certainly do. But when you've got A-list actors, Nicole Kidman and Ethan Hawke, written on the front of the DVD case, and being up front and center with the overall movie, you can't help but be like, okay, let's see where these characters go. If it wasn't for the director himself, if it wasn't for Robert Eggers, full sending the integrity, full sending his artistic vision, then you would be left with another typical Hollywood flop. And this movie is definitely not typical Hollywood, that's for sure. So when it comes down to epic fantasy movies, I mean, there has been hundreds of them produced throughout the decades, and let's face it, if it wasn't for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings series in the early 2000s, this whole fantasy movie epic scale boom that came in its wake wouldn't be half as effective as it is today without him, because he really kind of set the stage. Peter Jackson said, we need scope, we need heart, we need integrity, we need a lot of creative vision, and that's what this movie has here. There's a lot of action in this movie, and when you think of director Robert Eggers, you don't really think of him as an action director, and he handles it in a very interesting way. I feel like the action sequences in this movie are like strong brush strokes on a very intricate and beautiful painting. So each scene that unfolds for the audience has a purpose. Even the action sequences have a purpose. So when you're introduced to these moments, you're watching a very intricate ballet unfolding in front of you. To say that the music and the cinematography in this movie was breathtaking is a understatement, because there are a number of sequences and scenes in this film that really gave me pause. I mean, the overall visual execution is artistic enough, but the director really takes a chance by having certain sequences seem like they're borderline black and white, while other sequences were definitely bright in color. And it really depended upon the scene and what the director was trying to convey with each moment as the movie was kind of going along. I don't know what I'm saying. I've been drinking pretty heavily, guys. Jesus Christ. So this is definitely an ambitious film, especially one for Robert Eggers. When you look at his filmography, most of his films seem very small in scale and personal to the director. I mean, when you watch The Witch, it's about as indie as it gets. Then you watch The Lighthouse, and it kind of continues that momentum, but it's very daring because the entire film is black and white, and oh my God, we can't have an entirely black and white movie in mainstream Hollywood. Well, that's why I like that movie. The Lighthouse is fucking amazing because of that. In this day and age, everything is so overblown and confusing in Hollywood. You don't know where, studios and directors and actors and, independent releases reside in terms of their overall intentions and integrity. And that can be kind of an off-putting thing. I know it's definitely off-putting to this guy right here. I will say this. The movie goes into a direction that I didn't necessarily see coming. And when the movie began, with all these A-list actors being at the forefront, I didn't know how I felt about the movie on the get-go. But as the movie was kind of chugging along and all the pieces were coming together, and as the final acts were kind of dropping into place, I found myself completely wrapped by this movie. Out of 10 stars, I think I could give The Northman. I'm still taking into consideration that this is not my favorite film by Robert Eggers, but it's a good movie nevertheless, and I think I could award it a solid 7 out of 10. I hope I've been informative, guys. Until the next time, tune in to Neon Motherfucking Trash. Good night, folks. Cheers.